Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Douglas Railway Station here on the Isle of Man, where today I am going to be travelling on this train. Today's video is sponsored by Heart of the Tribe Gallery, where art meets community. More about that later. Well, as I said, here we are at Douglas Railway Station, where our train has just arrived. The engine is now going to run around, form the front, and this will be our train. So now he's going to run around the train, which means coming down here to a point over there when he goes up there, and that'll put him at the front of the train, so we need to get out of his way. As I said, it's a 1905 Bayer Peacock locomotive, and this one is called Maitland. And there she goes, beautifully presented locomotive. But then that is often the case on these kind of railways, isn't it? You need to keep away from the edge, we don't want to upset anybody. Now if you saw, as you came back, look, it tripped back and it's now set to go the other way, which we will do in a minute. You can see the original station platform buildings along here and the original station buildings there. Beautifully preserved station, it really is. Now if we're quick, we can see her at the other end. So what we'll do is we'll just let her go. So he's going a bit further this time. Looks like he's going to get some water. We'll come back in a minute. So he's going to need to come towards us, then go away, and then come back into towards us. Because of the way the track's laid out, you'll see he'll stop just past his first set of points before going forwards to the next set, and going forwards where he'll join this line by where that guy's just doing the lever now. Today's consist is made up of 4 coaches, made in 1929. And here is the inside of one of the coaches before everybody gets on. So here's the plan. We're going to travel as far as Castletown on this train. We're going to get off and we'll have a couple of hours to look around Castletown before catching the next train to the end of the line. That then gives me a little bit of time there before catching the train to come all the way home non-stop. So that's the plan. That's the only way you can do it with the timetable and not get stuck halfway between here and somewhere else. Okay, and here we go. There's the whistle. We're off. See ya. Castletown just being told over the radio that we're departing, so they'll be expecting us. And here we go. There over there is the signal box we're approaching. And Douglas, or Doolish. is the watering point, or one of them. And here is the signal box. As we leave Santon, which obviously serves a line maintenance yard as well. And off we go. Here we are, it's Castleton, with the beautiful Maitland, beautifully presented, gleaming in the sunshine. Bit of oil going on, never have too much oil. Castle on the horizon. So I've made it to Castletown. There's a castle here, obviously, which we're going to have a little look at. There's obviously some very little people living here as well. So I'm just heading up into the town, and then I'll probably head down towards the castle, and depending on how much time we've got, I may or may not go in the castle, because we've got to catch another train. So let's go and explore the town. You seem to have come out in a square, which seems quite busy. I'm standing opposite the castle here in Castletown, and if I do 180 degrees, I'm actually looking at the old House of Keys. This place, Castleton, was once the ancient capital of the Isle of Man, and this actual building here in front of us is the former House of Keys. The House of Keys obviously now is in Douglas, and we'll see that while we're here. But this was home to the Manx Parliament between the years 1821 and 1874. It was at the centre of 19th century political life and has been restored to its former appearance of 1866. I tell you, it's smaller than Glastonbury Town Hall, this is. Because 1866 was a milestone in Manx history, when the old self-elected House of Keys took its first steps along the road to modern democracy by passing the House of Keys election bill, and thereby becoming a popularly elected body. So I did the steam railway today because I wanted to save going up Snake Fell for the best possible weather, and that's kind of changing on a day-to-day basis at the moment. Looking back towards where the railway is, kind of over there somewhere. So for a bit of an update, we started here in Douglas and we caught the train through here down to here where we are now, which is Castletown, home of Castle Rushen, the old House of Keys and a nautical museum. Later on we're going to go back on the train and we're going to go back on through Port St Mary all the way to the end of the line at Port Erin. There is another castle which we should see as we go through Port St Mary, but in order to travel the whole line we can't stop at Castletown and Port St Mary. So to make it work we had to stop. So we're going to go from here to here, from here to here, and then here all the way back to here. So we'll also go north on the tram all the way to Ramsey, but also in Laxey where they have the big wheel, which is here, there's a branch which will take you off and you'll end up on the top of Snake Fell. Now I'm waiting for a day when the conditions are going to be good. I will just say the reason I haven't gone in the castle today is because I'm going to come back later in the season, because I want to go in this castle. I want to go into the castle, the next castle along the name that's I've forgotten about, and there's a couple of old historic buildings on the island I want to visit. Now, in order to do the timetable that I've set myself for 3 days while I'm here, I can't do that and what I wanted to do. So I'm sticking to my plan so that we can travel all 3 of the railways and hopefully do a few other bits and pieces around Douglas before I catch my ferry back on Friday. So I've walked down to the quayside here at Castletown. I'm going to see if I can walk out to the lighthouse, which is over there. Let's go and have a look. I think it might be closed off. There is some sort of gate there, so whether it's open or not. So for the fishermen out there, if you catch something, that's the size it's got to be. It also gives you an idea, if you want to pause the video, what you can catch here. Well, there was no drainage on it, so here we are, walking down as far as the lighthouse. So we've made it out from the town where we were over there by the castle. We've come down and we've walked all the way out here to the end, and we've made it to the lighthouse. In case you're wondering, this is a spit of land over here that sticks out into the sea, roughly where the airport is, and you can see a plane landing. It comes around and then it comes along here. It's only a very narrow spit of land, and there's the open sea over there. So all this is a bay here. So now we need to get a bit of a wiggle on because we've got to get back to the station for our train. So let's head off that way now. So we're on the TT circuit here, can't you? Well, the lovely station master over there with a white shirt on told me to come and stand here by the PETA oil engine sign, and he said that's the best view because you'll see it coming round the corner pulling into the station. Well, in the distance I can hear the level crossing barrier out of sight around the corner, and I've also just heard the whistle that means he's 2 minutes away, so by the time he's gone over the level crossing he'll come round the corner behind us. And of course at some time shortly after this one arrives we'll need to do 180 degrees and look the other way because our train will be coming in. Hear the whistle. Reversing, obviously. No turntables, so they run round and reverse on the way back to Douglas. Perfect. Checking none of the bearings are running hot. Don't want that happening. Wouldn't be good. Again, this is another Bay of Peacock. Bay of Peacock made beautiful engines. This one's from 1905 from their works in Manchester. This one's called Maitland. The last one we came up on was Manan, and that also was a Bay of Peacock. And here is the key to be passed across as our train approaches the platform. They swap these, because without that, this train can't continue down the track. And there we go. Yet another Bay of Peacock. Maroon this time. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Here we are. Towards the rear of the train. Hey, hey.
Getting on this one?
I am, yeah. Let's move up forwards. So here we are, pulling out of Castleton Station. There's the river with the castle on it. So as we leave the tram we run alongside the road for a while, although that's getting higher and we're getting lower, or both. So this with the window down and everything and the steam going past the windows, you do get a feel of what it must have been like back in the day of steam travel. It's really wonderful. And because it's narrow, everything's a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'm enjoying this railway very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at Colby. That's us pulling pulling out of Colby. That's close to your house, isn't it? And once again we can see the sea in the distance there. So in a slight change of plan, I'm going to find out how long this train takes to turn around, and I may come back on this because I'm kind of come back here to visit these towns that we're scooting through on the train properly. So I will come back and visit it again, but I'm thinking there's something back in Douglas that I'd like to show you, which you may find interesting. And if I go back a bit earlier, I'll get back into Douglas earlier, and I can probably do that at the same time. So that's my plan. Here we go. Now, Port St Mary is quite a walk in that direction, so we're not going to be going there today, but it's an interesting little engine shed just on the platform here that's absolutely wonderful. Look at that. So we've made it, and the Isle of Man Railway has a railway museum. Might be worth having a look at that. We've got an hour before our train leaves again to go back to Douglas. Let's go and have a look. Here we are in what can only be described as an excellent little railway museum. Look at this. Wow. Recognise this? Sutherland here. 5. Now, if that isn't the biggest angle poised lamp you've ever seen, I don't know what is. That's over 10 feet tall.
I think, oh look, there's tourist information.
See you later.
Take care now, bye-bye.
What can possibly go wrong? White jacket, steam engine.
So there we are, the end of the journey. We've reached Douglas. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I enjoyed making it. It was a great journey down. We are going to come back. There is more to see, much more to see. This train was particularly busy because half of it was reserved. I think there's a group come back into Douglas on it. So I'm just heading back now to wrap this video up. So thank you again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. But from now, from me, at Douglas Steam Railway Station, thank you. Bye. The Heart of the Tribe Gallery is a community art gallery situated near the top of Glastonbury High Street. They host amazing exhibitions supporting local artists, and they have a beautiful secret garden out the back. So be sure to check them out and support local art.